Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Angery Nation podcast. That was my friend Frank. I want to introduce you guys to Frank. That is a fine piece of Nepalese BMW German engineered steel, forged into a kukri. And if you use the hashtag knives by hand, you get one entry tonight into the giveaway for that very blade you just saw splitting that little log. And we're doing this because I want you guys to go check out his website, Knives by Hand. It's a partnership with the Nepalese kukri smiths in Nepal. And we have a big announcement coming up at Mountain Readiness involving the same group along with some of our folks. So use the hashtag Knives by Hand, puts you in the drawing to win that blade. We'll do it right before the end of the broadcast tonight. So with that out of the way, Sularu, how the hell you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I just got a message from Emery. He said he just got to the house.
Okay. He'll pop in then. Yeah, he might pop
in pretty soon.
Cool. How about you down there, Naked Face?
Naked Face?
Naked Face?
We always know we got it going on. Man, hey, ready for next Friday. Give my nephew his first salute as an officer.
That's right.
Hey, this will grow back. That's a one-time deal.
So Russ shaved because his nephew's graduated the academy, and Russ wants to be the first one to give him his actual salute.
Russ will be the first one to give.
Russ will be.
He already told me. He says, "I already got your silver dollar."
Nice.
Yeah. And
that's good.
Boy, there's all kinds of freaking comments from the peanut gallery.
Oh yeah,
it is what it is. But hey, it's better. I guess it's better to spring this on him here versus me showing up Saturday morning, sitting behind your booth, and people be looking like, "Who the hell is that behind Chris's booth?"
Took me forever. Okay. Some of the speakers are real loud and feedback. There we go.
It might be more.
That's better now. Okay. So yeah, sorry, I'm catching up. I'm just reading comments and looking at what everybody's doing. So we started on Monday here in good old Lake County. The American Line Company officially went to work. We worked a few days this week, and we'll be back into it next week. So we're waiting. The crew we working with are in Tampa doing a job, and they don't need our help, and I don't want to go to Tampa. So it worked out well.
Well, you've been a little busy otherwise. So
yeah. Well, Mel had her surgery yesterday. That went great. I was a little unhappy with the facility because they said be there at 1:30, and at 5:00 she went back. And it just totally messed everything up. I figured we'd be done by then, not starting then. So I had to run home, rent a car and stuff because I was going to borrow my mom's car, but it got so late, didn't want to do that. But she's doing great. Mel's a trooper. She handles this stuff real well. So she's laying in the bed, lounging right now.
She's there.
She's here. She's out there. So, and we're getting ready for Mountain Readiness, y'all. So you're going to make it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to make it. I talked to T. I will be doing some tracking. I told him just one class a day. So, I don't think if I charge anything, it ain't going to be charging much. It's just to, put in the kitty for Mountain Readiness. We'll be doing tracking again in the arena. So if it's raining or something, come on down. I'll do one class a day. And the reason I'm only doing one a day is because at last year's Mountain Readiness, I didn't get to go to any other vendors and everything. Yeah. I wanted to get with Jax and do her mountain walk. I've been living in these Appalachian mountains now for 4 years, and I still can't tell you the difference between an oak tree and a pear tree. I don't know the difference. So I want to learn some. I'm looking forward to learning things. And if there's any place where you can just choose what you want to learn, it's Mountain Readiness. So
absolutely. And that's why the illustrious Bob Toombs is not with us tonight, because he is making the schedule, guys, as we speak. He's been working on it all day. And he told me earlier, I talked to him about 11 maybe, and he's like, I'm not going to bed until this is done. So I don't know if he's going to be up all night or what the hell that means. But I want to mention real quick, guys. We're still the fundraiser for Donnie. Can't Get Right is still running. You guys can help it. If you can help out, it'd be awesome. We raised him a little bit of money. We're helping him out there, and now the company's kind of beginning to move. We'll get him some revenue coming in from this channel as well. So just trying to everybody's head. That's it.
And don't forget, Chris, we are going to be doing 50-50, 75-25 raffle while we're up there at Mountain Readiness. We'll have a jar probably over at the Angry table.
Yep, we'll have one there, and we'll be taking them for sure. And like Russ said, 50-50 if you're present, 75-25 if you're not, and it just goes to Donnie.
It's going to Donnie.
Yeah, we're just trying to help him out because he's got a long road to recovery and no income now, so something's gonna have to break. So I figured we'd help him out and try to stave the wolves off.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That's it. That is it. So, Sue, what have you been up to, man? Anything fun and exciting in your world?
Yeah, kind of. I did a long range course with Emery last week. Emery was a student. Carl and I taught at the long range course. That went very well. We had 10 students, including Emery, and we got to do. It was only a 2-day course. I like the way Carl runs it and everything. I mean, we got our differences on a couple things, but everything went fantastic. So
nice.
Had a good time over there. Then Emery and I, and this is something that Emery and I are talking about giving all of you guys later, is we're coming up with another course called the Combat Zero course. And you can do it with open sights too, but we're talking about, you just bring a hunting rifle to the course and everything. I will teach you how to be combat effective out to 500 meters with 100 meter zero. And just by changing your point of aim and noticing where the winds are and things like that.
Yep.
It's something that the well-trained troops from World War II passed on to my generation, through Vietnam and into our generation. And I don't know what we're going to call it yet, but it'll probably be called something like the combat or the assault rifle course or something like that. And we'll teach you the difference between a point blank zero and a combat zero. So,
yeah. So minute a man, combat zero, and Kentucky windage.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
So, and I understand everybody doesn't have the time or the money to get into these, these Tremor 2 scopes or these H59s or even the Mildot scopes. You don't need it. You just need a 3x9 Bushnell or something, with a Stadia line in it. Or we'll teach you how to do it open sight. A little harder with open sights because you have hard time. Drilling down on the point of aim with just a front sight post, but you can still do it,
Yeah. Yep.
So Emery and I had a good time doing that. He should be on here anytime.
Yeah.
When I came home and
I'm keeping an eye.
Shaved off my beard because, some people call me old over there in Kentucky, and I was like, no, I'm not old. So I just wanted everybody to see how pretty I am.
Well, and Sue, in your defense, you also get calls from over at Jackson and in the nearby area to help pay last respects to some fallen Green Berets. So, you shaving it off.
Yeah. Well, I still, like we were talking today, I still fit my uniform, so I get called up for funeral details every once in a while.
So does this. That's right.
So does this guy. It's been a long road, man.
Yeah, well, I ain't shaving, so I'm just The only reason I'm going to shave, and I keep clippers handy for it, is if I need to put on a gas mask. That's it. Zero other reasons to shave.
Well, and we had that discussion, Russ and I did this afternoon, and we were talking about the reason I shave is because I don't want all the ladies to miss this good looks, right? The reason you shave and the reason Emery shaves is you guys are ugly without facial hair. Complete facial hair.
And we have proof.
Yeah, show.
I'm waiting till Emery.
Oh, we gotta wait till Emery gets on. Anyway, I told the wife that I'm taking the drapes off the face, and I also told her that I took care of the carpet too. It's now hardwood down there. went to hardwood flooring to kind of rejuvenate the marriage. You know?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Oh my God!
You said there's hardwood flooring. Well, see, you know how you can tell when a house is under construction if it's a lesbian's house or not, right?
How's that?
There's no studs in the construction. It's all tongue and groove.
Oh, it's going to be one of those shows.
Nah, yeah, you gotta have some fun though. We gotta have some depth.
Oh, I gotta have some fun.
So,
Yeah.
Here's one for you, Sue. What do you think about this Colorado amendment coming up, the Armory Amendment? Have you heard about this?
I have not. I haven't been watching the news. I heard they're doing some stupid things out there. But
they are. They're getting ready. They're passing a bill that will limit the number of firearms you can own at any given time, how frequently you can purchase, all that kind of shit.
That's why all my retired 10th group buddies are talking. They've been pinging me all weekend saying, I'm moving. So I guess
that's why
it's close to passing, I guess.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to happen. But, you know, it would seem to me that's you should be able to defeat that on Second Amendment grounds. I mean,
one would think
these states keep getting away with this shit, but the Second Amendment supersedes the state's right, so they can't. But they keep doing it. It'll
have to go all the way to the Supreme Court. You know, kind of like that district judge that keeps on, you know, popping their ugly heads up and trying to tell the executive branch, because they live in a certain district, you know, whether it's Washington D.C. or they go find one in Maryland or whatever. These people just defy the Constitution. And I mean,
it's okay for them to defy the Constitution, but when they say that we are trying, you know, like Trump is defying the Constitution or these executive orders, they're all up in arms about it. It's just ridiculous.
Let's this is exactly where I was hoping somebody would say something about that's unconstitutional. SCOTUS will strike it down. Don't be so sure. Roberts came out and ruled in favor of illegal immigrants in this country, saying that Trump couldn't use the Enemies Act to deport them with. And that's
that one did surprise me. That one surprised me. Yeah,
it did. It didn't to me. You know, I've been. What the hell? I hit hide. Why'd that come back? It did. It didn't. You know, it seems to me, and if I've kind of pulled out to do a higher altitude view and looking at things, and if you notice the left, everything that they want so badly that they are screaming is rights and are protected. None of that shit is. But everything that is a right and is protected is what they assault. Everything. If it's something that, especially if it's something that the right holds dear to or really believes in, they're obviously going to fight against that. A prime example was I was talking to a friend the other day that was in California. They were in a CVS buying Mucinex. Talking to me on the phone, we were doing it. And I hear the cashier be like, I need your ID. And I was like, for a fucking Mucinex? You know? And they give the ID, and I hear the cashier go, it's expired. They're like, I'm buying fucking Mucinex. They still got to have an ID, but not to vote in that state. God forbid you ask for an ID to vote, but you got to have an ID to buy an over-the-counter, not even prescription medicine, an over-the-counter decongestant. But don't have to show that to vote. Like the absurdity levels of things of where we've gotten to. When Roberts did that, came down with that ruling, you know, I knew we're pretty screwed now, in my opinion. Once the judiciary is compromised like it is, that's it. That's the last hope that any civilized society has that the rule of law will be.
You're right. That's the last bastion for the Constitution. And if people don't interpret the Constitution the way our forefathers wrote it, and then we might it becomes worthless. You know, I mean, the Constitution was put there for a reason. You know, the 7 articles were set up at how the government's supposed to work. And then we have 27 amendments. And the first 10 of those being the Bill of Rights, those are for individuals. And the rest of them are for kind of taking little nitpicks, little bites of your individual freedoms away. But the government is still supposed to limit the amount of power that the federal government has. You know, and until states start standing up and saying, no, you can't do that, like Colorado's trying to do with the Second Amendment. The problem is that violates Article 5. And that's why I say that Roberts was wrong the way he's interpreting it, because in Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution, it basically states that if everybody in every state has the same amount of rights that the federal government bestows on the whole country, right? And if a state tries to take that away from you, then it's the president's job to go in there and correct the state.
Yep. But what do we see happening instead? Now we have the states suing the federal government for doing the duties that are duly enacted to them, like the executive branch being the executive branch, hiring and firing people. Did you hear about Harvard? Harvard filed suit against the federal government because they stopped their funding. And I love their argument. I would almost like to go sit in the courtroom and watch this one. Harvard said that they were suing to get their funding back because it was not within the government's power to stop their funding. And I was like,
it was within the government's power to give them the funding. Well, guess what? He give it and he can take it away.
No, you can't. So, and this is just
right
lawfare,
to receive that funding, as long as Harvard's pursuing the public interest, then they can receive that funding. But if they're spewing anti-Semitism, or they're taking rights away from Americans, I don't care what your religion is, but if they're taking American citizens and putting them in danger because of their religion or because where they come from, then their funding should be taken away immediately.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
it's that simple. I don't have to be a judge to understand that.
I mean, that's like Gavin Newsom trying to sue over the tariffs. Again, is not in your wheelhouse, dude. Slow your roll.
Well, the lawfare angle is so many speakers are turned up again. I can hear it in mine. The lawfare angle is just the left's way of dragging out the fight. They're just trying to hamstring Trump for 2 years in their mind till the midterms, because they think they're going to sweep everything in the midterms because everything's so awful under Trump.
And that brings up what the left is trying to do. They're using lawfare, but the rest of those senators going down to El Salvador, or all these congresswomen, Crockett, and Maxine Waters, calling for open violence and things like that, and trying to send people against these Tesla dealerships and things like that. That in itself is, in my book, that's going against the executive branch, and that they're in a way they're kind of committing treason. You have to. That's what gives you checks and balances. I mean, we put up with 4 years of buffoonery. Yeah. And now they don't want to. They want to resist every single thing. Even when we try to correct the mistakes of the last 4 years. All the overreaches by the government during the whole COVID thing, for example, or making people take vaccines when they didn't want to take vaccines. It just on and on and on. It's just getting ugly, And for them to say, hey, you need to go to open warfare, they're actually trying to start a civil war, and that's why it's so important for us, the resilient community, and we need to keep on going things like Mountain Readiness, and we need to keep these podcasts going, because they're coming after us next. They want to shut all this free speech down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, they absolutely do. Yeah, and it's funny,
as they call it, as the left calls it, disinformation.
Yeah. Well, what's bizarre to me, and I don't know why people talk about it more or more noise it made about it, but we lived under a weaponized DOJ for 4 years. It legitimately weaponized. Like, they threw thousands of people in fucking jail for doing stuff against the government. I mean, it was almost like dissidents being rounded up. And then as soon as Trump comes into office, before he's even done anything to anybody, he's weaponized the DOJ and he's coming after everybody. Oh my God. And it's like, how, I don't know how those people can talk out of both sides of their mouth that way, or make that rapid and 180-degree change in their direction. It was cool. The weaponized DOJ was cool under Biden. It's very uncool under Trump. It's a constitutional crisis under Trump.
A perfect example of that was just yesterday in Open Source News. They said that those IRS during the Biden administration, the IRS bought hundreds of thousands of M4s, and 5 million rounds of ammunition, and multiple pistols and things like that. They wanted to basically give the IRS agents, accountants,
Yep.
battle assault rifles, right? And it was in open source information yesterday, and I can't remember where I Newsmax or Fox or something, or maybe off of YouTube. But I guess in the last 2 years, there's been more accidental discharges by the IRS than they've actually shot their weapons.
Oh, no doubt. Did you see a couple years back when that IRS training videos kind of got leaked out? Did you see any of those?
I did not see any of it.
Oh,
I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
I'm sure you could probably go to YouTube and find it. It's terrifying seeing those people handle firearms. I mean, it is, but it also reassured me in that I knew wasn't a competition. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna leave it like that. It wasn't even, not even like, no, like trying to fight wet toilet paper. There's no fight here at all. It's just gonna be a mess everywhere. So, but it's watching the deterioration of the country, the way it's slipping, and the media being wholly owned by the left. So they've got the propaganda machine. They're the ones that gin up the people that the ignorant fuckers out there that just sit in front of the TV and repeat what they're told. And we're going to have a hard time overcoming that because the right doesn't organize like the left does. They don't get together and protest and do all those things, which I'm really glad. But it might come a time where that kind of thing's going to happen. I think a major show of force, like January 6th, scared the shit out of them. And we saw what they did. They jailed everybody that they could find, put everybody in jail they could think of. Mm-hmm. And that's the response. So we got to remember that, one of the Tesla vandals was just, all his charges were just dropped. They're not going to prosecute the guy.
Yeah, that was Minnesota. That was a liberal place. That was in Minnesota. Yep. And Elon Musk today said that he was going. I think it's May 20th. He's going to kind of drop down. He's only going to do Doge for like 1 day a week. He's going back to what he does best. But he organized it. They haven't even scratched the paint on the fraud, waste, and abuse going on.
No.
And it would be easy to find $1 trillion worth of fraud, waste, and abuse if they were allowed to actually go through like. My big example is the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Shut it down, like a Department of Education. Shut it down because they have not helped out the Native American not one iota.
No, if anything, they've made their life worse.
They made them poor. They've basically they're suppressing the Native Americans. I say take the land away from the tribes, give it to the individuals, and let those people. There's your reparations for stealing their land. Don't use that word. Into private ownership,
that land wasn't stolen; it was fucking conquered. There's a big damn difference.
Well, yeah, and they conquered it before too.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
They take reparations and they just twist it around like over there in California when they want reparations for slavery in a state that didn't have slaves, didn't have slavery, and basically the people there that were in California didn't own any slaves. That's like me going out and getting a woman pregnant or paying for a kid that I never even screwed the woman. You know what I mean?
Yep. Same thing. Same exact thing.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
And the Native Americans have a legitimate beef insofar as the federal government violated every treaty they ever had with them. So bad on us, but the guys with the most guns fucking usually win, and that's just what happened to those people. And it's
but I was raised on Indian reservations. I'm telling you, it's nothing but fraud, waste, and abuse. And I feel sorry.
I feel sorry for them too. I do. Like I've always said, they're the only group in this nation, in my opinion, with a legitimate beef. Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what the far left want to do. And let's admit it, the far left do not like the Constitution, and they do not like you, the American people. No. They are the oligarchs. They're trying, like Bernie Sanders and AOC, they're saying, hey, watch out for the oligarchs. They are the oligarchs.
Yes, they are.
Everything that's coming out of their mouth and what they're accusing others of are exactly what they've been doing for 40 years.
Yep.
People got to call them out on it. They really got to call them out on it.
But no one does.
I got this little thing right here. But it basically says when the people fear the government, there's tyranny. When the government fears the people, there's liberty.
Yep.
Thomas Jefferson said that. I mean,
absolutely.
We got to make these people in the government fear the people. And you're right. January 6th did make them fear him. But again, there wasn't one armed citizen that entered that Capitol. Not one.
Nope, not one. Only shot fired that day was from their side, at a woman through a window. So pretty much tells you what you need to know about them.
Yeah.
So Chris, Big Kev over there on Instagram is saying California is going to ban Glocks.
California is going to ban the Glock, huh?
That's
Again, I don't know how it's possible that they could do that. The Second Amendment's pretty clear. The left always tries to use their magical arguments on it, and it's retarded the way that, it's been accepted how English grammar works. No one's really argued that until you get to the Second Amendment. Then they want to start arguing grammar. They want to start arguing the grammar point.
Well, until you get into pronouns.
Yeah, but you can't argue all those.
No, you can't. It's just like I said, the things that they choose to fight for, like illegal immigrants, making sure no voter ID or anything like that ever happens. The freedom for them to protest and use their voice and burn shit down, which is cool. But the minute someone on our side tries to do that, they're going to drop FBI agents out of helicopters and arrest them. It's just, I said, I think it was 2 years ago, I said I said it was, we're a banana republic. Like during Biden's shit, I was like, we're officially a banana republic. And I don't see it changing yet. Yeah, Trump's doing a bunch of stuff with the economy, and that's awesome. But there's a whole lot of house cleaning that needs to be done here. And I think they're finding that there's some quiet but heavy pushback behind the scenes is why we're not seeing some of the stuff we thought we'd see. I think there's a lot of pushback there from the, the entrenched bureaucracy,
Yeah. I mean, we're not, that's what the left wants to protect is the bureaucracy.
Yes.
They're not fighting for a democracy. They want to keep the bureaucracy going.
Yes.
And I wish I told you this when I was down there visiting you in Florida. I wish that I could be on the Doge team going after the DOD because I know where the skeletons are buried. I did almost 8 years in acquisitions. So I know exactly where we can find $1 trillion worth of waste very fast. And they won't like it. They won't like when you have 740,000 civilians.
Yeah.
What make close to 6 figures a year in the Department of Defense, 35% of the federal workforce that can't go to war, won't go to war, and they really don't help the soldier at all. You can pretty easily find a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I actually talked to a military buddy of mine, and he was now a DOD civilian, a GS, and him and several of the other ones that retired about the same time that I did, we all retired within like a year or two of each other. Several of them took the early buyout of their retirement, and they're getting ready to, they're doing their thing, getting paid for a year.
Yep. Soaking up that government money.
Yeah.
Okay, it's obvious that we've got a 2-tier justice system in this country. I just want to make sure I say this kid's name correctly. Austin Metcalf. I want to make sure I said his name. The other one, Austin Metcalf, is the high school kid that was stabbed to death.
Yes.
By a young black kid. They were at a school event together, and you can read about the story if you want, but the black kid pulled out a knife and stabbed this other kid in the chest and killed him.
And the black kid was under the tent that was for Austin Metcalf's track team.
Correct. And all they did was, all they did was say, hey, man, you're not supposed to be here. There's plenty of video out about it and everything, but, watching the reaction of the families and everybody and how they treat him, he's just an innocent baby child, never done nothing wrong in his life ever, except kill somebody. And that entire community just 100% backs and supports this kid, guilty or not. They don't care. They actually hope he did do it and he gets off. That's what I think they want, his side. Mm-hmm. They know he did it and they just want him to get off so he can be like, I killed a white guy. Yeah, I did it. Yep. Yeah, his GoFundMe's up to almost $600,000. The family just bought a brand new, fully loaded Escalade at $150,000 and moved into a $900,000 home.
Chris, that was the black guy. Metcalf is the white guy.
I said he's the victim. I didn't want to say the other guy's name. I said I'm not going to say his name. But
no.
Austin Metcalf is the victim. He was stabbed to death. Right. He died.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his attacker's name.
Yeah. Metcalf's GoFundMe is now at almost 600.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's catching up to the other guys. So the other guy had one immediately that shot up over $400,000 in a matter of a couple of days. So I'm glad to hear that family's getting some money too.
And they're trying to turn it into a racial issue. The hypocrisy is just. I think midterms during most administrations lose the House during midterms. Mm-hmm. I hope that we can get enough people to look at the lack of common sense that the other side has, and we actually get a stronger lead in the House and the Senate. There's 4 senators that aren't going to run, 4 Democratic senators that aren't going to run the next election. So I hope we can. One's Minnesota, and one just got announced today. Durban's not going to run.
Yep,
I hope we can replace them with Republicans. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Just common sense Republicans. If the Republicans stay on the common sense theme, like you just can see how the hypocrisy is just running rampant. Like Al Gore. Did you see Al Gore's interview yesterday? I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was this morning. He got up there and basically accused the Trump administration of being exactly like the Nazis again.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is coming out of your mouth when you're the one who, as the vice president, and then you ran for president against George W. Bush, you're the one that put a 50-cent tax on diesel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those days. That's right around 2000. Yeah. But I had an F-350 that ran on diesel. I had a construction company. When Al Gore did that, that made it so hard for small businesses to operate. Remember, diesel used to be cheaper than gasoline.
Mm-hmm. It still should be.
And Al Gore's end of the world conspiracy has met its deadline. We're still here.
2021, New York and Miami are supposed to be underwater.
Yeah, it's not. Florida's still there. It's not 140 degrees every day, and Al Gore's full of crap, still living in a mansion.
Yep. Hey, let's take a quick minute and run our mountain readiness promo there, Russ.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because Russ knows how to do this faster than me. Not this weekend, but next weekend, guys. Harmony, North Carolina, at the Van Hoy Family Campground. Mountain readiness. You're going to want to be there. T is building the schedule as we speak, or that's what he's saying he's doing. I know he is because everybody's up his ass about it. But you guys want to be there. Come check it out. Come hang out. We'll be there. Russ and Teresa. Pete's coming down. The illustrious Mr. Robert Tucci, my good friend, and many others. Too many people to announce. Matt will be there. Brush Peter, Alan Kay. I think I'm getting him to drop by again. He better come because we're doing something with him there. And we got a big announcement for there too. That
they're also doing that $50 charity dinner for Billy Bonds, and after that, Anthony Benet will be doing an acoustic set.
That's right. That's right.
And you guys, a lot of the folks on here watched that on T's podcast. I believe that was Monday week ago. Anthony was on there, and I'm looking forward to finally meeting Anthony and Holly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've never met Anthony, but I've met Holly. She's a sweetheart. So, looking forward to it.
Well, it doesn't look like Emery is going to show.
Nah, he's probably just beat. I don't blame him. I'm a little tired myself.
Well,
right there. It's all you had to say. All you had to say was he wasn't coming, and he appeared.
Oh, finally.
And played with his
yeah.
So, how you doing?
My apologies, gentlemen. Just got off a long drive and a long day in the sun before that. So I apologize to everyone. How are you guys? I missed you. I don't recognize that guy to my left.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Hey, this guy's bringing the heat now.
That looks like a Fed to me. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Fucking looks like a Fed.
What do you think, Drew? You got anything to say about this?
Yeah, Emery, you need to stop rubbing your pussy and get that cat off your lap.
I was just gonna tell him that's not legal to do on YouTube. I was just gonna tell him you can't be doing it. You can't be petting pussy on YouTube, man.
Well, it's my welcome home committee.
Ah, okay, all right. Fib. Yeah, Mel's gonna be there. She'll be there. She's coming.
So what do you think, Emery? What do you think of the new Sularoo?
I've seen you this way
Remember
before.
Called me old man last week. Look at that. 10 years younger, right?
Honestly, yeah, a little bit. Still ugly as hell.
No. I'm pretty in perpetuity.
Perpetuity.
I'm pretty forever.
In perpetuity.
And Emery, I've made my goal to get back in my uniform, so the beard had to come off. So, but speaking of beards, Sue, you think it's time?
That's why.
I think it's time. The reason that Chris and Emery have to have beards is because without facial hair, they are ugly, ladies. Show them the picture.
Some old shit. My God.
That is photoshopped.
Look,
no, sir.
Look at the ugliness of that. Oh my God.
Oh,
wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that throws way back.
That's too ugly
Chris,
to get in the glory hole.
We're two ugly bastards, but that picture, there's something off about that.
Yeah, the good looking thing in the picture was I took it out because just so you could be in the picture by yourself.
Yeah, there was a good looking thing that was a distraction from my face in that picture.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yeah.
and she was doing her best not to look at that face. It looked like you got slapped by a shovel.
I love it. Guys, that was a terrific surprise. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too. They thought they had us for a minute there, but
well, they have to make up for how ugly they're looking right now. Look at this.
Yeah. Well, they do. That's why they had to come in to try to handicap us. They had to come in like that because they knew they didn't have a foot to stand on. Just saying.
Sure.
Yep.
Whatever.
What class were you doing today, Emery?
I actually was doing a fence building class. So the last 2 days, Carl and I and Randy built a fence essentially kind of around his house. And not like a cattle fence. So it was some work. Although, at least we had a bobcat with an auger. So that made life way easier.
Way easier.
Oh, yeah. He's just stealing my thunder right there. Yeah.
Hey,
how so?
Real quick, folks, 5 minutes. If you haven't already put in your entry, knives by hand. If you've already entered, don't re-enter.
You only get
5
one.
more minutes. We're going to cut it off. That way, my lovely bride sitting over here can finish jamming all of these in.
Teresa's been over there in the peanut gallery tonight, like Russ said, hand jamming all the names into the bingo parlor thing here that draws the name. So it's not us picking; it'll be a purely random one. So I'm kind of
Emery, you're a co-host, so you can't put your name in. Nothing's too good for the troops. Nothing's too good for the troops, and nothing's what they'll get.
You want to show the video one last time?
I was gonna say, let's run it again so Emery can see it. Go ahead and run it.
All right, let's do the video. Let's do the video one more time.
Yeah. They're entering for a chance to win that very kukri this evening, Emery.
So it looks to me from my ex knife maker eyes. First of all, everybody loves the kukri.
Yep.
Kukris are just fantastic. It's such a great tool. If you've ever had to cut some wood, like what is more fun without a motor than a kukri for wood.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it's a kukri, like an original design kukri, but it looks like it's actually made very well.
Well, that's a real Nepalese kukri. So
Okay.
that's BMW leaf spring right there all day long, hammered
Nice.
out in a forge in Nepal. So we are teaming up with Knives by Hand, our good buddy Frank over there. We've got a big announcement at Mountain Readiness that we'll make about a little project, and we're giving that one that was on the screen there tonight. We're giving that away to the winner. So
excellent. Yeah, I shouldn't have put Sue's name in there.
Yeah, you thought we were giving away. So you heard we were giving away a kukri, but you misheard it. You thought we were giving away something else.
Yeah, Emery doesn't know nothing about hand tools. I was chewing him out about him and Carl had an auger on a bobcat, so they don't know anything about putting up fence or digging post holes.
Yeah, they're obviously smarter than that. Yeah, I mean, look, we started the line company, and like we were out the other day, we were out Monday working, and I'm like, I'm getting a 4-wheeler out here. Like the next time we're running this wire, I'm bringing a 4-wheeler out to stretch out this cable. I'm not pulling this shit by hand no more. That ain't happening. Or to pull the lashing tool. So there's this big ass tool. It's about 70 pounds. You got to put up there and you pull it down the wire. Well, we're going to pull it with a 4-wheeler. Fuck that walking, tugging on the goddamn rope. I'm not doing that shit. So I've already ordered another reel trailer that has a mount on the front of it to pull a 4-wheeler up onto it, ramps and everything. So our next one will have that. Smarter, not harder, man. Smarter, not harder, always.
Bummer, I don't have one of my combat training shirts here. That say harder, not harder.
Yeah, I remember harder, not harder. I remember. I've got one of them. So.
I do too.
That's my style. I got 3 PhDs. They're called post hole diggers. When I put in fence, it's like.
So probably the funniest thing that just happened in the last couple of days is, there were some holes you got to dig by hand, right? Because there's concrete, there's whatever, and we had a few holes we had to dig by hand. Well, yesterday, Carl brought out his PhD, which was a dilapidated, 18th century, broken handled piece of crap, and then Randy got angry about it today. Showed up, he says, I have 2 PhDs. I'm like, Randy, you don't have a PhD. He goes, yeah, I got 2, and he pulls out this whole it's a new contraption that it looks totally different and all that. He was proud of it.
To the bottom and pulls it up. Is that little one like that?
No. It works the same way, but the design of the limbs is different, and it crosses over, and it's this whole thing, and you can torque on it, and it was pretty cool.
Cool, man.
So Randy brought modernity to the hill this weekend, and not us. Instead of Randy being stuck in the Stone Age.
Yeah. He likes sharp things, and that's about as far as you can go. Give him something sharp, you make him happy.
He definitely showed up with like 12 knives on his work belt today.
Always.
Well, that's Randy's knife belt. I mean, Randy's, he carries
exactly.
He carries a gun.
We always accuse Randy of carrying a pistol on his knife belt.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Teresa and I went out with Randy and his wife for dinner when we were staying over in Fort Campbell area over the summer around Labor Day. And that was the first thing I asked Randy. I said, all right, Randy, how many knives do you have on you? He goes,
and he's got to stop and count. He's got to go,
he's got to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, subconsciously, he knows where every one of them is, and he can put a hand on them faster than you can blink. But if you ask him to tell you how many there are, he's like, he'll start patting pockets and shit. So
that's a really good point, because it's very true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like in an
very
instant, he can produce any one of them. But if you ask him.
And Randy, I got to tell you, Randy outworked Carl and me.
No shit.
I mean, that boy runs around. He's sawing stuff and, putting together contraptions. And no, you tie it this way. And then, those giant kebab fingers, and he ties these tiny little knots.
Kebab fingers.
He's probably run more fence wire than probably all of us put together.
Oh, yeah. He grew up doing that. That was his whole childhood. Sue did too. I did it as an adult, but not nearly that much.
I've done enough more, and I like T-shirts for a reason. So there are ways to put in. When I did one fence line where we had a shit, what's it called? It was a hammer. It was mounted to a bobcat and pile driver. So you would put the post in there and set this thing on top of it, and then engage it. It would pick this hammer up and drop it, bang and bang, and just drive him into the ground.
Yeah,
I didn't mind that fence job. That one wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's a great tool, but that's money.
Yeah, it always is. Always money.
Yeah.
As I'm learning right now, because we're still buying.
We put up a metal fence. It wasn't those, but we had a bobcat with an auger, so I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah, that makes it way easier. Way easier. What's coming up on the in the future for you right now? Looking ahead, Sue, you got anything going on?
You talking to me?
Yeah, your name's Sue still, right?
Well, I'm the same thing you guys got. We're getting ready for mountain readiness. Troy and I got this rifle put together. I guess I can turn it around. Well, you can't hear me very well. No, well, I'll save it. I'll save it for the next podcast. I'll bring it up for mountain readiness.
There you go.
But Carl, like I said, well, no, we talked about it before the show. I did 2 days of a long range course with Carl last week, and then Emery and I stuck around for a day, and we're coming up with a course for the. I don't know what are we going to call it, Emery, or are we going to call it assault rifle course, or we're just going to call it combat zero course?
I'm not very good with names. We're coming up with cool, sexy names. We have the information, but I think the idea, Sue came up with this idea, and he's been talking about this for a few years already with us. Like, hey, we have to get in and teach this at TR classes because it's a very helpful tool. I'll let Sue explain it because it's his thing. He does it better. But he has been trying to convince us to do this for years. And now Sue and I have gotten to play with it a little bit on the range, going out to 1,600 meters. And it's excellent. So yeah, Sue, take it, you want to tell everybody what?
No, I was talking about the combat zero, the 500 meters, 600 meters.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that you and I got to shoot out to 1,600. Yeah, but we did a lot of playing with that. We had a 1,600 meter
range, and I showed Emery off of a 100 meter zero off of his 308. He had a couple 308s there, and I showed him off of a 100 meter zero. All we had to do was dial up to 500, and then just change the point of aim for a man-sized target. 1 meter tall, 39 inches. Just change the point of aim. And you didn't need to worry about any mills. You didn't need to worry about minutes of angle. If you just had a crosshair, if you just had a regular hunting scope, your grandpa's hunting scope, that with this method based off of the max ordnance of a 308 round, you just take your 100 meter zero, dial up to 500, and you can. I had Emery just dancing back and forth between 100 and 600 meters. Just by changing the point of aim. Yeah.
So the idea is this, right? Is a lot of people think of like the sniper thing as just laying there and getting, perfect eyeball shots at 762 meters and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, cool. That's an aspect of it for sure, right? What Sue is discussing here is a method. If that's the type of weapon that you have, right? If you have something with a scope on it now that is a fine-tuned thing. What's that?
I'm talking peanut crown.
Okay, I was just making sure I wasn't doing something wrong here, but with
someone's trying to encourage me to drink, and I'm like, not happening tonight. So keep going.
So anyway, so if you have a weapon like that, you're out in the field. This is a very expedient way to be able to just target without having to remember too much stuff for really medium range engagements, close to medium, right? From 0 all the way out to 600 meters. So Sue and I have been discussing it. We came up with a class. We're kind of finalizing our notes and stuff on the class. Then he and I will go out to the range. We'll shoot the class ourselves. It's going to be a 1 day, all day long class. And that's the idea of what we're working, the skill.
That'd be cool.
I like that idea. Teaching to use holds essentially is what you're doing. So
it's teaching holds, but once you actually do it, we all understand the words that Sue explained, right?
Yep.
But once you actually do it under his supervision, he's like, putting you on stuff. it clicks in a very different way, and it's a great system, right? As opposed
It's
to, I'm sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, finish it, Emery.
I was just going to say, as opposed to if you're zeroed at 100 and then you're just remembering, okay, at 200, I got to, it's a half mil up. At 300, it's, 1.3 mils up, whatever it is, right? Even if you have a BDC, this is a really nice method. And you can make it work if you're good enough with iron sights with an iron sight gun.
Yeah, and it's an on-the-fly thing, too. You ain't got to stop and, remember how many clicks you're up or down, left or right or whatever.
Yep.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to point out to Carl. People ask me how I got successful in my career, especially on the War on Terror. When I'd go in an urban environment, I would take my 100-meter zero because we didn't have 500 meters ranges to play on.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take my 100-meter zero. I'd zero at 100 before every mission. And I would dial up to 300 if I was in the streets of Baghdad. And I knew that I could hit a head-sized target all the way out to about 440 meters, right? Just based off my point of aim, right? Well, then we'd come out of the city into the open desert, and I would dial up to 500. And because you don't know remember, when you're in the two-way range, you don't know when your targets or where your target's going to pop up.
Yep.
And that's when you got to really start introducing what I was doing with Emery that day, was introducing him to winds. And he got a little bit during the long range course, but if he could just go off the felt winds on his face, or he could see a little bit of winds in his scope, he could go all the way out to 600 meters just by changing his point of aim, and adjusting for the winds all the way out to those medium distances he's talking about. And if you can overmatch an AK-47, you've got the world by the world by the balls, because that's mainly what your enemy's going to be carrying.
Makes a very distinctive sound fired at you.
Yeah. So here's the way I just thought of the way to describe this, Sue. Sue's concept, right? Because it's a mental concept, kind of. Sue's concept is you take the BDC. For those of you guys that don't know, that's a bullet drop compensator. So it's caliber specific. It'll be like lines and dots and stuff in your scope for that caliber, right? You're taking the BDC and you're putting that BDC, instead of in your scope, on your target, right? It's the thought change of doing that,
right?
If that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's a really quick class. Like you said, it'll only be one day. I know we're coming up on drawing time here, but hopefully we'll be able to offer this course on tactical riflemen. It'll be a one-day course, a couple hundred rounds, and probably won't be a lot of money. But once you run the drill 2 or 3 times, it's in your memory bank forever.
Cool. Well, Russ, is T ready to do this?
I'm checking now.
Okay. We owe Teresa a great big thanks, everybody, because she was in the background tonight. Like we said, stuffing everybody's name into the box. So
I believe she's validating her typing at the current moment.
Right.
And when she says she's ready,
you just let us know when she's ready, and we'll do it.
And I'll pull it over. We'll change screens to the Raffle screen.
Pretty jazzed that somebody's going to get to win that beautiful piece of steel tonight.
Okay, you
and it's no joke when I said the guys in Nepal, they like BMW leaf springs. I wasn't shitting. Like, literally, that's what it's made out of. Oh, here we go. Oh, spin the wheel. Let's see who's going to get this thing. Look at all the names.
Spin the wheel, baby.
Let's do it. Oh, here we go. And I can't be blamed for the winner. So, because it's purely random on this thing. Anthony Foltz. Oh, fuck yeah. Tony, my boy. There you go, man. That's
there we go.
Is a lucky day.
Anthony, we have your address. I'll make
got
sure.
his info. Yeah.
Do you have the knife, Chris, or does Frank have it?
No, Frank has it. So just get it to Frank and he'll ship it to Anthony.
Yep.
So
that'll work.
Awesome. Well, to those who didn't win, at Mountain Readiness, Knives by Hand will be there as well. We're going to try to do an impromptu live from there with him and some other folks. We're going to sit and talk a little bit about some things coming up. So that'll be pretty cool. But we'll be doing the big announcement and at Mountain Readiness as well, which involves them. So pretty neat stuff, you know. And the guys, Frank, Knives by Hand, he's a former service guy. Doesn't like the limelight or don't want to really see him, know who he is. He's one of those guys that likes to operate in the background, but a great guy. And if you come to Mountain Readiness, you'll get to meet him. So you'll be hearing more about Knives by Hand in the future because we're partnering up to do some stuff with him. He sponsored Alan to go over to Nepal. They went and, you know, we teamed up then with Sawyer Filters, and they sent a bunch of filters to Alan that he took to Nepal and handed out like Mardi Gras beads to people that needed them. So some cool stuff happening there, and you guys get to hear more about it. We might even actually be able to have something to show on that soon. There's quite a bit of video being put together right now from that little trip. So hopefully that'll come to fruition. Yeah.
Anything Alan's got his hands mixed into is going to be a good thing.
Yeah. Just good people. Like this guy's a genuinely good dude. He partnered up with the bladesmiths over in Nepal, and he's, you know, helping them expand their businesses and feed their families, you know. And if you go on the website, Knives by Hand, you'll be shocked at the prices of these blades. It truly is.
100%, Chris, because I went on there to, you know, give some information based off of what you had sold me to get this that video together.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at Teresa. I said, Teresa, you got to come look at the prices here.
Yeah.
So I was very impressed with the prices.
Yeah, I was stunned at what they charge for them. I mean, you know, like that kukri there is probably less than $200.
What?
Yeah, probably off his website. It's probably about $200.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now
he had a Bowie knife that had where the blood groove is actually looks like a lightning bolt and is cut out, and it was $300, and it weighed 2 pounds. I mean, it was a pig sticker. I mean, it was freaking huge on their website. But it was I think Knives by Hand is going to do very well. We're going to start pushing a lot of their information.
I think we once everybody sees them and the quality, like, because I've held one of his already. It's pretty impressive. I mean, and these are real Nepalese kukris. These are made by the guys on their forges over there in Nepal. Like it's legit, and you'll probably be able to see a little bit of that video hopefully here soon. So you got anything you want to leave everybody with tonight, man? Last words of wisdom or parting thoughts?
Yeah. All you guys coming to Mountain Readiness, and you're thinking about any gun or ammunition purchases. I'm dragging Troy up there, and I just want to remind everybody that we have an FFL, we have an SOT. So if you guys are thinking about anything and you're from the North Carolina area, check out Rugged Cross Armory. We can pretty much get you anything you want. And I don't think we're going to set up a table this year, just because, like I said, I don't want to guard everything. I want to jump into some of the classes, but look me up, and if you're looking at something, we'll probably be up between myself and Troy Hartline. We'll be able to get you a decent price on anything you're looking for.
Get us. You got a website you're running that through, Sue, or what do you guys?
No, we don't. We haven't set that up yet. We're changing. We're in the middle of change. We just changed the address to basically my address. So Troy's brother Chris, we got everything kind of up in the air. So we haven't done a website yet. But
okay. Well, let us know how we can support, man, or how we can point people to find you guys and you know, reach out for prices. So we want to make sure we get that on here so we can put that up every day, you know, each show we do, because we're going to support
every item sold for Rugged Cross Armory will be delivered with a glorious kiss from Sularu.
That's right. That's
glorious,
right.
Kiss.
Yep. I thought you said tick. Emery.
Well, that too.
Emery got in a tick. He got in that second day or that last day we were shooting together. He got in a nest of ticks. I've never seen more ticks on any one individual in my life.
Oh, yeah, I pulled over 30 ticks off of me that day. Over 30 that picked off of me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You
got into them good.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Emery, what you want to leave everybody with tonight? Anything coming up you want to point them at or anything like that?
Oof, yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming up. We'll put it up. We got some new classes coming up on tactical riflemen. We're going to be doing, and I have Rawson coming in at the end of August. He's going to be
Nice.
coming in to here, and we have a TPC class of his that I will assist and instruct for him in Indiana. Then we're going down to Tennessee, possibly Cedar Creek Precision in. That's in Kentucky still, and then a couple other places. So we'll post those up, and there's going to be some fun, interesting classes that we don't put up often.
Cool.
So there's going to be a high risk EDC, there's going to be comprehensive combatives, and TPC's handgun mastery, of course, which is a 3-day course.
Which is an awesome course. Which is a great course.
So,
Russ
fantastic
knows.
course.
He's been in it, so Russ knows.
Yep, that's
on
the
that
course
note-
everybody on every level needs to take. But
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Henry, when are you going to do your basic knife fighting course? I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in that.
it's a good idea. We can get that discussion rolling.
Well, Russ, thanks for everything you guys do for us. You and Teresa both. Big shout out to Mrs. T tonight for getting the raffle done for us. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time keeping my shit together thinking tonight. I'm really tired. But just big thanks, buddy, for everything you guys do for us.
Not a problem,
We
man.
appreciate you, man. Even though you do look funny, and I'm gonna save this picture forever. Just so
Oh,
you-
I know you will, but that's fine.
we'll bring it
But,
around.
Oh yeah.
What's funny is all of this hasn't gotten light in about 30 years.
Well,
20
he asked me.
20 years.
Yeah,
20
he,
years. Yep.
he asked me. He goes, should I shave now or should I wait till Friday? I'm like, you might want to get some sun on that shit.
Russ, put up their picture again, Russ. Put up their picture again.
I hate you, sir.
Yeah. Just
Oh God.
need I say more?
Yeah, I'm going to say
Well,
I've only gotten better
you guys
looking
have
over the
beard.
years. I've only
I
gotten
got
better looking
nothing.
over the years. That's all I got to say.
Well,
I got nothing.
On that note,
Yeah.
on that note, we would definitely be remiss tonight, Chris, if we didn't give a shout out to Steph.
Oh,
over
shit.
Rebuilding
Yes.
Hollers. I got
Yeah.
you. I got you,
Thank
man. That's what I'm here
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Okay, Rebuilding Hollers, Stephanie Johnson and her crew over there. They will be at Mountain Readiness. They will have some Rebuilding Hollers swag there with them as well.
Yep.
So,
And buy something from them, guys. That's how they're helping fund their operation. If you want to leave a donation, they'll take that too. But stop by and buy a shirt. Help them out.
absolutely. And for those of you that are too lazy to type in knives by hand, scan the QR code. That'll take you right to their website.
There you guys go. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Next week's podcast is going to be fluid. I'll just say to be announced and pay attention because I can't predict when that'll happen, but it'll happen at Mountain Readiness. We'll do it from Mountain Readiness. So,
Oof. You guys remember what happened at this last time at Mountain Readiness?
Yeah, we're not bringing up the waterboarding.
I don't think we'll be waterboarding anybody this time.
A couple people got waterboarded, maybe.
It could have happened, but it's like Mel always says, it's not waterboarding if you use diesel.
Hey,
so.
before everybody signs off, give Mel a big shout out, and I hope she gets better.
Oh yeah, she's doing good.
Absolutely. Get well soon, Mel. We'll see you at Mountain Readiness.
You guys know the drill. Be good or be good at it. We'll catch you next time. Stay safe, happy, all that shit.